Greetings, YouTube. Today I thought I'd present a systemless, campaignless monster idea, one that I came up with while I was at work recently. As I said, I work in a factory and it affords me quite a bit of time to just ponder. Oh my. Yeah. Tidy. So I'm going to present you with this. I haven't named it because I didn't want to lock it into any particular genre. When I say systemless, I'm just going to present you with a description, and when I say campaignless, this particular creature I think could fit into any number of campaigns. For example, it could fit into your classic fantasy campaign. It could fit into a post-apocalyptic campaign as some kind of hideous mutant. It could fit into a pulp science fiction style Buck Rogers game as something that, the intrepid adventurers encounter while landing on some alien planet. It could fit into a superheroes game as some mad scientist's recreation that he's released upon the world to, dominate, yada yada yada. You know how that works. It could also be used as a genetically engineered war beast in this dystopian future. So I like the idea of a monster that can be used in many different places, and you just tailor it to the particular one that you're in. And the creature I'm going to be describing is very much like a wyvern, and that it definitely has some draconic characteristics, but these characteristics are not necessarily its most prevalent and most obvious and most interesting aspects. So imagine a wyvern-like creature. So you have a drake-like animal, 2 legs, not 4, so it's not a true dragon. And genetically more closely linked to real-world avian. But this definitely has a reptilian vibe going on. And while large, it's not a huge creature. It's got a body which is the size of a horse, and a neck about the same length, a tail twice that, and each wing probably the full length of its body. I like to have wings that are vaguely realistic in scope. Yes, I realize a creature this big cannot actually fly in our world, but I'm cutting some slack for this because it's interesting and fun. The hide of this creature is a deep mauve, but its skin, with the exception of its wings, is covered in a pebbly surface, kind of like a Gila monster, and the pebbles are lighter shades, some of them almost a pale lavender. Its claws are large and darkly colored, almost black, but not quite. Its tail is long and flexible, with a fan at the end, which helps it make turns in the air. Belying its size, it's a little more agile than you'd first think it would be in flight. Its neck, however, isn't as sinewy. It's thicker and more muscular, even though it's the same length as its body. But the most unusual aspect of this creature is its skull. Its skull, which draws people to it when it is finally visible. And I say finally because it hunts at night. The 2 most prevalent features that you're going to notice right off the bat in this thing's head is its eye and its horn. I say eye because it possesses a single cyclopean orb, broad and dark, again almost black. And while it lacks good depth perception, it only possesses a single eye that has excellent night vision. And it only hunts during the night. You might even make it have a negative effect in bright light. It can't be out in the daytime. But the next feature it has is a large horn that projects forward from its skull, about twice the distance of the length of its skull. But it's not thin like a unicorn's. It's more conical. It has serrations along its edge, very much designed for hitting something, piercing it, causing huge rending wounds that don't close up and bleed profusely. Particularly useful if the creature hits something while it's in flight, ramming it with its stout neck and its muscles. becoming literally a missile of death. And rather than having the reptilian teeth of a dragon or a wyvern, its maw is filled with the triangular teeth of a shark. Rows of them all ready to index the next one forward, as it rends the flesh from its victims, leaving teeth behind as they're torn free. That may be the only evidence that the party finds at first. A triangular tooth in the middle of the place where there is no sharks. Claw marks on the ground that are hideously large and dangerous. And a wound that they can't figure out how it was made. It's not a particularly smart animal. Smarter than a dog, but not too far up the scale. In D&D terms, I'd probably give it an intelligence of 3 or 4. So, a magical beast, but not what you'd call erudite. However, because it's got that intelligence, it's capable of planning, it's capable of using its thinking process in a way that makes it far more dangerous. I imagine these things as solo hunters because they are large animals, or beasts. And they've learned one important lesson. Fires and lights at night mean prey. And they like fires and lights because their favorite food, their preferred sustenance, is the flesh of humans. And humans is a broad term. Anything that is vaguely humanoid and mammalian, for as far as this thing is concerned, is a human. Though maybe some of the older beasts have a more discerning palate and actually only go after particular humans, eschewing Vulcans, and Klingons, and orcs, and halflings, and elves, and dwarves. Maybe they prefer to hunt just the human colonies. Maybe the human colonies think that they're a weapon from their enemies. So I present you with this creature, this beast that sweeps out of the sky on the dark, moonless nights, spearing prey, rending flesh, leaving bloody, torn, tattered corpses in its wake. Claw marks in the ground, screams in the night. Tell me, how would you use this? And one parting question. Can anyone tell me where I gained my inspiration?